Welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast. Champions, fans of champions. This is
that didn't take long.
I'm going to try and get it in as much as possible. I mean, this is our first pod back. We had a little break after the amazing Super Bowl result and watch party we went to, and we are back with Mitch's baby. It is draft season. It's prospect season. We've just had the NFL Combine, and today we're going to be looking at some Combine monsters selected by my podcasting partner in crime, Mr. Mitchell.
That's me. Hello, Mitch.
Hello, mate. We're going to be covering such things as a standout in each position, whose stock rose through this Combine, whose fell. We're going to look at Mitch's favourite prospects and who the Seahawks could take a long, hard look at. We've also got some very, very exciting news for the podcast, which Mitch and I cannot wait to share with you. In fact, we can share a little bit with them if I hit the intro, can't I, Mitch? There you go. Before I cut Mitch off, sorry, mate, I got far too excited there. I just clicked happy. I couldn't help it. So for those of you who probably tuned into that then, and as you can see above mine and Mitch's head, we have rebranded with the help of Gord from our Discord, who has done an absolutely amazing job. We're no longer the 12 Talk podcast. We are now 12 Talk because we're more than a podcast, we feel. We feel that we're a community, and that community involves you guys too, the members of our Discord, the people we meet at UK Seahawks meetups, at live games in London. We just felt it was time. This is year 3, Mitch. Year 3.
Almost out of our rookie deal.
I know, mate. I know. God, we're going to be like seasoned veterans soon. How are you feeling, man? How's everything going? How is the looming fatherhood treating you?
It's looming is the word. I genuinely think draft night is going to be when baby decides to come. We are predicted between 3rd week of April, 1st week of May. Literally that 23rd of April kickoff up for the draft. My number 1 overall pick this year is going to be a child.
Excellent.
So
it's going to be actual Mitch's boy.
Yeah, Mitch's boy is an actual Mitch's boy this year.
Phone in hand, tuning in. Job done.
Yeah,
fine. The baby might sleep.
How popular that is. Yeah, maybe exactly. They do sleep a bit. They do other things like require changing and scream the house down, but it's fine.
That's not essential. Don't hold my wife isn't watching this. But in other big news as well. So as some of you have obviously seen, we have now changed to just 12 Talk. Now there's also avenues that have been open to us with your support, which we couldn't have done any of this without you guys. And that includes things like Super Chat, like this one from Danny, Super Bowl champs, baby. Let's PG podcast go.
Do you know the best thing about that Super Chat is he didn't say first, like the rest of the internet when they're first to comment. He doesn't care that he's the first. He wants to shout out Super Bowl champs, and I respect it.
But Danny is the first of the first to ever put a Super Chat on this channel.
Yep.
True first. There you go.
I think that deserves a shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt.
Yeah, Super Chats are now open, and we couldn't have got this far without you guys coming in. If you want to leave a Super Chat, by all means, it's the best way for us to make sure that your comment goes up on the screen, and we will discuss it either during or at the end of the pod. We've also, as you may have seen, because I forgot to take it off, opened up a Patreon, because 2 years of doing this, it's our 3rd season. Mitch and I want to help, but we just want to grow this pod, and we can do that with your help, either by Super Chat, so you can join the Patreon. The link is down in the comments. There are 3 tiers currently. So for £3 a month, you could be a rookie, just supporting the pod for less than the price of beer. For £6 a month, you can become a 12th man. which means you're supporting the pod, and you also get one entry, a raffle ticket into our end of season jersey draw. And I will stipulate, to be part of that draw, you need to have been a Patreon for the whole season. There's no starting and ending it. That's not how it works. That's cheating. And then for £12 a month, you can become an MVP, which gets you access to the MVP Fantasy Football League, which will be curated by Mr. Mitchell, whichever side he's on. I don't know which way my camera flips me.
I'm over here.
There you go. And the winner for that will get a trophy from ourselves, and you will get a prize to be decided. You also get 2 raffle ticket entries into our jersey giveaway. So there we go. There's also plenty of other things that you can do to support us. So still buy me a coffee and buy us a beer with a seasoned person. Feel free. And yeah, there you go. I just want to give a really quick shout out to 5-Star Imports before we get cracking any further, because Neil at 5-Star has been on it since the Super Bowl. He has done a fantastic job of getting people as much Super Bowl merch as possible. I have the Seahawks on-field Super Bowl championship t-shirt. This came from Fanatics UK because I missed the order window. Neil also got you that jersey. But Neil actually got these champions hats to people sooner than Fanatics UK did. And they came from America. That's what more can you say? If you want to have a look at 5-Star Imports, check the link down below and sign up. It's an amazing service. Mitch, now we've done all that bit, the money's only bit and all the adverts, shall we talk Combine?
No. We should just mention that as well as growing the community with these extra things that you can now do to support, please remember that 20% of all proceeds will go to the Robbing Cancer Trust as well. I think it's really keen I'm really keen to just mention that the money coming in is absolutely going to keep the lights on. It's going to help pay the subscriptions that we want to become self-sustaining. But more than anything, we want to stay absolutely nailed down to supporting an absolutely fabulous charity. So 20% of all of that money from your Patreon, from you buy your coffees, from super chats, everything is going to continue to go to the Robbing Cancer Trust. We obviously had a huge amount raised by our watch party. We believe we can raise similar numbers through your support as well.
I did a recount. I did a recount of the watch party because I forgot to add the money that you paid to them as well for your tickets. So I'll reveal that later on.
Nice.
But yeah, so now shall we talk Combine? Shall we talk draft prospects? Because that's
no.
Come on.
Let's do the Combine. People came for the Combine. Let's do
this. This is all about you. This is all about you. Right.
It's about a charity.
So the way this is going to work, as people, if you're new to this channel, Mitch is our draft guru. He is the man I will go to with any questions about prospects, and we're going to lean into that heavily pre-draft. So I'm going to go through, there's a series of questions and topics that we're going to discuss, and Mitch is going to give you his thoughts. Now, firstly, what was your overall feeling of the Combine? The Donald Trump hands there, sorry. I'm going to put them down.
I think there was a few classes that really stood out. The big takeaway, and I guess this is the takeaway in a way every year, is that the big boys just get more athletic. Watching so many 4.78 or higher, or lower 40-yard dashes from the D lineman was balmy to me.
Yeah.
I think that was a real standout. There are some seriously athletic big boys in this draft, and then the O lineman proceeded to do very similar things. So I think that's one thing that stood out. Another thing is that people have said how deep some of these classes are. There are guys who were projected as UDFAs, especially in the wide receiver class and running back class, who absolutely smashed the athletic testing and are suddenly projected 5th round picks. So from the usual, it's not a great draft class, there are some really good prospects with high ceilings that probably won't be expected to contribute early, but you're getting players on your roster, the kind of like the Rick Young kind of like athletic freak, going to be an immediate special team contributor. provide you something a bit different. There's so many of those players in this draft. It's unbelievable.
Nice. Well, with that being said, then I'm going to ask you to give me a standout in each position, and we can start from wherever you want, my friend. I will let you.
Well, I've got my list, and I'm going to work down it in the order I put it together in, which, knowing me, was reasonably organized. So we're going to start at corner. We're starting right from the back of the D. Corners. There's a couple of names here. One I've mentioned, and I'm going to talk about just because I think he is in serious consideration if we stick and pick at 32, and that's Avian Terrell. Now, Avian Terrell in his pressers was talking about Mike Mack's defense and talking about how much he likes watching them, how he sees himself as a fit in our scheme. Lots of media personalities have said Avian Terrell, for the Seahawks makes lots of sense. Other people have talked about Cisse, but I think generally Terrell is the one that people liked. Now, he was a huge standout in this combine with his pressers, the way he spoke, but also some of the on-field drills and how fluid he looked. The athletic testing was there. People expected him to be a bit slower, but really, I think he showed he had all of that speed that he needs. And anyone who's watched the tape, he looks at the combine like the player you saw on tape. Sometimes it doesn't quite match up. Absolutely matched up. So Avian Terrell looking highly polished, very athletic, the dog mentality you want at corner in a Mike McDonald defense. So Avian Terrell stood out. One thing I will say as well with another prospect, Hezekiah Masses. This is a corner that you could pick up day 3, early day 3, maybe mid day 3. Bigger corner, 6'1", heavier. There were serious concerns about his straight line speed. But the way he performed with his larger frame through the drills, he looked fantastic. And he tested faster with the 40-yard dash than people expected. So I think Hezekiah Masses, if you're looking for a man press corner, someone that can slow down a wide receiver at the line, can mix it body to body with larger receivers, Hezekiah Masses, if we don't take an early corner, could be a real pickup late in the draft. So those are my 2 corners of note.
Nice. So that's 2 corners.
Yes.
Where are we moving to next?
The safety room. So, I literally am just moving back to front. I had to do it that way. My mind wouldn't allow me to do it any other way.
That's fine, mate.
So there's two names here, and one is an absolute athletic freak. The other is a very versatile piece that was projected to be a UDFA by a lot of websites and a lot of scouts. They thought he would go undrafted, but actually his combine testing has projected him higher. And also, this will be a real giveaway who I'm going to talk about. His brother's performance lifted him as well, I think, because that's a family. It's almost like a family bloodline endorsement in a way. So that, of course, is Lorenzo Styles. So significantly boosted his draft stock. A 4.27 speed 40-yard dash is an absolute blaze of a speed. He's got a good size. I mean, he's sort of Kobe Bryant sort of sized. Some would say, a little bit undersized for a safety. Nonsense. In the modern day NFL, where you're expecting safeties to do a lot more than just be in the box or deep. In today's NFL, you need to be more versatile. I think he's built perfectly for that. The combine testing has shown a huge upside. And I think now you're looking at a round 6 pick with again, immediate starting potential as a special teamer, immediate contributor. So Lorenzo Styles' stock really took off, I think.
Have you seen the size of his dad? Well, I haven't deep dived into this, but there was a picture of both of the Styles boys next to their dad is a giant. I'm not sure how tall these guys are.
I'm having a look now.
I'm like, anyone who's watching this, whether it's like after the live or you're in the comments now, just search up the picture. Have you seen him? He is gargantuan next to him.
He looks like Ronnie Coleman, Mr. Olympia. Ronnie Coleman. That man's a size. That man is an absolute size. I feel like I should segue into D lineman off that, but
I think in all fairness, like the boys have to be quick to escape any whooping that he may have put on them.
Yeah, they had to be twitchy athletes as far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting there was any domestic violence in that.
No.
I'm simply saying, if you want to get out of the way of those python arms trying to wrangle you in for not doing your homework,
here we go. And thank you to Ben, UK 12 man. Lorenzo Styles Sr. was an old school linebacker. He'll be massive.
There you go.
Look at that picture, Ben. He is huge.
Yeah, and that leans in again, I guess, to the bloodline thing. Like both sons and the father athletes, so leans into that upside that you get with having that pedigree. So yeah, I think he was worth a shout out, and I think he's going to be one of the biggest climbers in this draft from pre-combine projection to post-combine projection. So worth a shout. Here's one that you're going to like. Another safety. I'm going to try. After this, I only have a couple more positions I do too on. I'll skip through position groups. But Dylan Tieneman is a player who I had hoped would be available for us because I think our safety room would be truly elite with that kind of athlete alongside Eamon Wari, the leadership of Jay Love and the veteran savvy. But he was elite. His testing was truly elite. I've got it here. Let me find the numbers. Yeah, so he had a 98 percentile 40 with a 4.35 speed. Fantastic. 97th percentile vertical jump as well. The measurables aren't quite there. He's 40 percentile in terms of measurables. Slightly undersized. I think 6 foot. Yeah, 6 foot, 201 pounds. So he, again, smaller safety. But to my previous point, you need that versatility in the modern NFL, I think. And when you look at the way that certain websites grade, run support, coverage, everything else, he is absolutely graded like across the board consistently at the top. So add that kind of scouting to a scouting combine that took the top off. He also looked really smooth in his drills. Like he just looks an absolute stud. Now projected from being 40 he was 40 to 30. So early second rounder, late first rounder. I think he probably doesn't get past the Minnesota Vikings at 18 now. But
now they've lost Harrison Smith's gone. They're going to need a decent safety.
Yes, I think that is a very good hedge that he will be a stud safety in this league. So yes, I think that's a good shout. We'll move on to linebacker. There's only one linebacker worth really talking about. I mean, if I genuinely thought we were in the market for a middle linebacker with one of our early picks, I'd have picked out someone I think we'd have gone for. But I have to mention Sonny Styles, who had an Eamon Wari style absolute blowout of the record books, looked as polished as you could possibly look coming into this draft season. I don't know if I've ever seen a pure middle linebacker just look that good at a combine. Smashed all his drills, looked super smooth and in control of his mass as well. Like freakish performance. He'll be a top 5 pick now.
That's the thing is that, and I don't want to spoil sort of one of our next sections, but there are people like that have just done their prospects within the draft an absolute world of good.
Yeah,
and he's obviously one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. He's skyrocketed. Right, he was already a first round lock. Let's be honest about that. And when you look at the position he plays, where does he fall? Who values the position? High enough to take him. When you perform like that, people will start thinking, where else can we put him? What else can we do with him? That Eamon Wari effect, where you don't, as a defensive coordinator, you just want to maximize that talent and that physicality. So I think there'll be an awful lot of teams looking at where they could potentially use him. And I don't know if he makes it out the top 5.
The majority of the players that you mentioned, I have zero hope for us getting. because if they're
there's some coming.
Okay, right, fine. To be honest, I'll say my opinion on pick 32 later on, but
okay, well, it'd be really interesting to hear your take. I think a lot of people have got similar takes at this point, but I'll let you say yours before I give you mine. Talking of what we might do at 32, this is like Avian Terrell. This may well be the pick. Zion Young, Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've watched a little bit of film together on Zion Young because I was quite high on the scheme fit and where he could be weaved in. Zion Young is a powerful, powerful boy. He can be moved from tackle to defensive end. And let's be frank, if we drafted him in the first round, watch him find his way to nose. Because that's what we do with highly talented first round defensive line picks.
Well, you throw them straight into the fire, don't you? Like, there you go. Have some of that right in the middle, and then we'll move you
it's
around.
Almost like it's rookie. It's almost like rookie.
Like
hazing,
an initiation, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Just eat double teams all season. Have at it. Go on, stay out there. 4 downs. Just be the nose, whatever. So I've met my notes here. Smashed his drills, looking smooth and complete control. 6'6", 262 pounds. This was a skinny version of Zion. I think whilst he's slimmed down, he didn't do any proper measurable drills. He did the actual dynamic positional drills.
Football drills. Yeah.
The actual football drills. Yeah. And I think that was quite a smart call because he smashed the Pro Bowl. He looked an absolute stud at the Pro Bowl. He only really stood to lose against the highly athletic defensive line class that I spoke about. I mean, if he looks slower than them, which he would be, I mean, he's not the twitchy athlete that you potentially look at generally in the first round. What he is incredibly powerful with great instincts, locker room guy, highly coachable, I think, as well. That mass will come back on. I think he'll be your more of your D-end edge than your sort of 260 outside linebacker sort of style. That's not his role. He is if you're sending 4, this is a guy who is going to put you on your heels the whole game, and you can't switch off. He's also got a really good pursuit of quarterbacks. He closes down angles really well. He's on quarterbacks in a flash, which is surprising, really, because his get-off's not elite. But once he's got you in his sights, he is a good finisher as a rusher. So, which was the opposite of Byron Young. Actually, Byron Murphy. Yeah. Byron Murphy. It's the opposite of Byron Murphy because he would constantly get penetration with the effort and the power and with his moves. He would get in and then often not finish his dinner because the quarterback was still standing or took the wrong angle or whatever. So Zion Young has got all that. So I genuinely think that is a prospect we could take in the first round who could see meaningful rotational slaps. Rotational slaps. That's
we're ring rusty. We've had 2 weeks off. There you go.
Take meaningful rotational snaps in this defense. And that multiplicity of being able to be D-end, be nose tackle, be defensive tackle, that is something we rely on from Jaron Reed, who, if he plays for us this year, you have to be thinking that's probably his last year. And we see Leonard Williams do it too. So if we're looking to keep that as the identity of that defensive front, you have to imagine they'll be looking to draft players that can be mixed into that. He is someone that can do it.
I mean, with the film we watched, I think the first thing I said was his get-off wasn't very quick. He seems to be sort of half a second behind the snap, and that was my only issue. Watching further film, he looked like he took that half a second to try and formulate a plan as to how to beat the tackle. But I'd still like to see him get off a bit quicker. But I think that'll come in the pro level. I don't know if he's a first round pick for me. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think he's got an awful lot of upside. Where I do doubt the pick is that it looks like he's bullying O-linemen at that level. Everyone is big and tough and heavy and has been in a NFL weight room with a proper conditioning coach for multiple years. Once you start facing seasoned veterans, in the NFL, he won't have that advantage at that point. What does he then move to? So he has to be coachable. He has to be open to that. I love the talent, and I like the scheme fit. That's what I'll say. And I think he looks extremely polished in his reps.
Yep. Okay, I'll keep watching film.
The next person,
I'll start watching film.
Start watching film. No, please stop. You've done too much, Josh. Just stop. Tone it down. The next talent I want to talk about is Lee Hunter. Now, Lee Hunter he carried himself at the combine like a true alpha. In a room of big, apparently athletic, players, he was a true alpha. He just had the air about him. He was chest out. He was walking around talking to guys and coaching them up and wanting everyone to do well. And then when he was in his presser, have you heard what he said in his presser?
No.
He was asked about being a trash talker in college. He was renowned for having an enormous mouth. And they said, are you not worried that, talking trash to NFL caliber O-linemen is just going to get the best out of them? And his response was, I want the best out of them so I can beat them on their best day. And I sat there and I thought, that is so good. It's so good. So that confidence that it looked like he carried when he was walking, and if you're there trying to coach up the D-line class at the combine to get the best out of them on their day as well, those are the people you're competing with. Mm-hmm. It shows a real confidence and character to just want them all to do their best and then beat them on their best day. But I was really impressed. I thought he looked fantastic. The other thing is he's got a nickname that you'll love. They call him the Fridge.
Oh.
Because he is literally just like...
We've already had a fridge.
Have we? Who was the last fridge we had?
Oh, my God. What was his name? He played for London Monarchs as well.
I mean,
William Perry.
There you go. Well, I'm sure that it wasn't trademarked. Lee Hunter can have the fridge. And I certainly won't stand between that man and a fridge. I think I'd tear me limb from limb. But yeah, I will say this. We're talking about combine performances. He came out of it with a 3.72 relative athletic score. It was not good. It was not good. It underwhelmed. But his strength is, when you see grown man strength, like that mm-hmm. 28 to 35, 36, like just benching 140 kilos like it's nothing kind of strength. He's got that in spades. He's a competitor. He's a locker room presence. He is powerful. He is polished. He's confident. He will go in the first round, Lee Hunter, despite the relative athletic score. People will see an absolute enormous talent. And when you look at the comps that Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis and the other top NFL pundits, when you look at the list of players he's been comped to, it's like a who's who of elite Hall of Fame defensive tackles. There is so much belief that he will be outstanding. So, combine performance, the presser alone got my attention. let's say that. I thought he was great. So, from a defensive line talent that underperformed in drills but overperformed at the podium to a guy that absolutely lit up the testing, Zane Durant. Anyone who watched the combine would have been expecting me to shout Zane Durant's name out. It was absolutely unbelievable. He had the fastest 40-yard dash amongst interior linemen at 4.75 seconds. Characterized, like I've put here in my notes, his performance was characterized by his electric combination of speed and burst for a 290-pound player. He is your heavier sort of build. If he slimmed down for it, he barely had a haircut, frankly. Like, he did his testing at a weight he was comfortable at, that he had full control of. and he blitzed and smoked everybody. He was absolutely unbelievable. Yannick just said it there. Yeah, what an absolute beast. He was so impressive. He looked like a running back in his... You know when you watch someone running the 40-yard dash and they look laboured because they are heavy? He ran it, high knees, stiff arm. It was Usain Bolt. Do you know what I mean? It looked perfect line. Didn't look like it was a huge amount of effort. He was just an absolute athlete. So...
big man shouldn't be able to move like that, in my opinion. It's freakish.
No, but that was a feature of this combine for the D lineman, I think, which probably made Lee Hunter look a little bit poor, honestly. But Zane Durant looks absolutely phenomenal. I think he's done his draft stock a lot of good. He wasn't projected to be a particularly high draft pick, but I do think now anyone who is looking for a ball of clay with high levels of athleticism, he will pop on your chart now in the war room. He'll be a guy that you'll run to the podium for on late day 2, I think.
Nice.
So that is Zane Durant from Penn State. This is a fun one, right? This is a fun one. Running back position. We are into the offense, and we're going to start at running back for obvious reasons, because we are the Seahawks. We've got one ACL running back. We've got one that's left on into test free agency. May come back, may not. We don't know. I'm going to talk about Mike Washington Jr.
We just quickly, we've got our free agency pod, free agents pod next week. I hope to God he's still out there, because otherwise that's going to be the majority of that pod.
Oh, we've still got people to talk about free agency, but he is the big piece, isn't he?
We're talking about him getting 15 million somewhere else.
Do you know what? If he gets 15 million,
fair play
to him. Running backs don't get paid in this league. If a team that you want to play for is paying you 15, or a team you don't want to play for, 15 million is 15 million. But he has tasted Super Bowl victory. I half expect him to pick a contender from the highest bidders. We probably won't. I think we're probably going to bulk at about 11, 12 tops. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if we go that high, possibly even 10. But we should be looking to get him back. If we don't, go on.
I was going to say, can we also, just a quick sidebar, send off our thoughts and prayers to Breece Hall, who's been franchise tagged by the Jets after being desperate to get out of that organization all last season.
Yeah,
that's like an aggressive hostage situation. I think it's like they're hoping for Stockholm syndrome to set in, that he'll actually enjoy being there, but I don't think he will.
Can you see a holdout and a demand for trade? Because I genuinely can. It could be they've tagged him with the intention of trading him rather than letting him walk out the building. But I think if that isn't the case, we might see someone failing to report. Genuinely. It's not a well kept secret, is it?
I can't wait for next week for these all to develop more. I just wait for all of the notifications to up on my phone, and I read them like that. Oh, I love this. Ben's on it. Just hashtag free Breece Hall.
Let's get that trending.
Who's Bryce Hall? It's Breece, isn't it? But yeah, I had to put that in there if you're talking about running backs, because there's one that's currently out there in the to wider league, being able to get whatever.
That has been corrected. There
you go. Well done. And then there's one that's now been held to ransom. So, all right, go on. Running backs. Who we got?
Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas. Now, I'm going to do the bad first, because I feel like if you can get over the bad, you'll see what this could be, in the NFL. So, very large back. But not his actual back, but as a running back, a large running back. Proceeded to run the fastest 40-yard dash among all running backs, right? And I think it was, I've got a stat here. Yeah, it was the fastest 40-yard dash time of someone weighing over 220 pounds. So 220 pounds, large running back. Run a 4.33. Now, if you've got a power back, you can bludgeon teams with up the gut, but also bounce him out in an outside zone scheme with home run hitting 4.3 speed. I like it, right? But the bad thing that I said I was going to give you first, which I then forgot to do because I'm sorry I got excited. 3 fumbles last year while pounding the rock. And now we've been blessed with Charbonnet and Ken Walker. We have. Other teams fumble the rock throughout the season. It doesn't matter who it is. You do see it. Right. Bijan Robinson's fumbled.
It can be coached out, though. And that's purely a positioning where you hold the ball. It's the same in any game with any game with the oval shaped ball. You need to be taught how to hold it properly to prevent a fumble or a knock on if you're a rugby player. It's easy. I'd take that as a downside.
I mean, it's a downside based on his college tape. If you're looking at his good and his bad, then the ugly part of that is it is ugly. But when you've got a back who you can go right, fourth quarter, just we're going up the gut, power, we're calling power, do that, and then you bounce one outside with the same running back out there that has been pounding the gut and can take it to the house in a flash. That is a wonderful bit of versatility. And I think his stock will have risen massively. He's now a second-round prospect. There's no way he's still on the board by the end of the second round. So in a trade-back scenario, potentially, where we pick up an extra pick, there may be a Washington Jr. move. I'd be surprised if that trade-back isn't followed by best corner on the board, best... what else am I thinking here? Edge available. Yeah. But if he's there and we've traded back, or he's there at 64, which I doubt, he could be a seriously tasty pickup. Ready to talk wide receivers? I've only got one I want to talk about, and it was just I have a draft crush and I have to just wax lyrical. But yeah.
Before we do, can I just put this in from Fabian? Makai Lemon's a good option at wide receiver, and he's not weird at all.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Makai Lemon. We said we talk about a few players that have fallen, right? I got involved in a lot of heated conversations on social media.
I saw.
Did you? I was sticking up for him just because, right? Makai Lemon, very, very talented wide receiver. He just is. If you watch the drills, amazing. Soon as you watch the presses, you became a little concerned for him because there was a bit of Stevie Wonder. There was a bit of Stevie Wonder, right? He's got fantastic taste in wide receivers, by the way. Shouting out JSN and Jamar Chase, and who was his other?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Jettas. It was Jettas.
Yeah, Jettas. Yeah.
Yeah, but he played. Yeah, he said he played but yeah. So Jettas, Jamar Chase, and JSN is his top 3 wide receivers in the league. Anytime anyone leaves Puka out for me, they're not as crazy as they look while they're looking like Stevie Wonder bobbing their head around.
It wasn't even the Stevie Wonder. It was the. It was like he was trying to give every reporter the death stare. It was just such a weird podium interview.
There are people who look through your window and watch you eating dinner, right? There are peeping toms out there watching you eat dinner that aren't looking as creepy as that on stage at the biggest job interview of their life. I'll say that. But my point on social media, and if you saw my post, you'll understand this. People were saying, "Oh, his draft stocks dropped based on this media interview." No, I don't buy that. I don't think the creepy look and the bobbly head are putting anyone off. If you've scouted the guy for 2 years and you think he's a top prospect, if you've spoken to him as a scout, or you've spoken to the teams and got the lowdown on the player, and you've graded him as a top 10 talent, a media interview at the combine is not going to turn you off. So I had this argument with people and said, look, it's probably due to where he's from, how he's grown up. He might have older brothers who talk like this and behave like this. Those mannerisms might be learnt from his environment, and we shouldn't talk about those things dropping his draft stock. It doesn't make sense to me. But a lot of reports have come out saying that the teams that asked to speak to him were very, very turned off by those interviews. So I think if he came across like that to the media, don't care. If you come across that like that to the teams that have got you high on their board, that is where you drop. So I think Makai Lemon's probably fallen from a top 15 maybe to mid-20s. I don't think he goes that far. There are wide receiver needy teams that won't be able to pass up on his talent.
There are desperate teams out there. There always are.
Yeah, I don't see him falling that far. But it was a very interesting experience watching him at the combine in general, because he blew it up on the testing, self-destructed again on the media testing and the interviews. So, person of interest, and not weird at all, as the Fab Man says.
Right, go on. Who's the wide receiver you actually want to shout out?
Colby Young, Georgia. Now, anyone that watched this 6'5", 218-pound wide receiver catching balls like he had fly tape on every finger of his gloves, the safest, softest hands, and a man that looked like he needs 3 people to just put a dent in him. I genuinely think I crushed really hard. And also when the wide receivers were making the quarterbacks were making their throws, doing their drills, and you saw him busting a gut, highly polished. He looked phenomenal during someone else's interview. You know, it was like he just looked like this is what he did. So highly polished wide receiver out of Georgia. Who knew? True outside X receiver, physical mismatch. Did the 40-yard dash in 4.49, so it's not DK Metcalf speed, but for a big-bodied guy, that's not Jake Bobo speed. That's proper speed. So, yeah. Oh, and the big thing. Here's the big thing, right? About Colby Young, and one of the main reasons that I sat up in my chair while I was watching him, and I actually watched him with Cara, and Cara's been watching the NFL for approximately half a season, and she was like, "Why is he so big?" everyone around was like, "Why is he so big?" And she was like, "Oh, this is the guy that we like." And it was, she just picked up on the fact that whenever he was being thrown to, I was like fully like zoned in. She's like, "Oh, it's the guy,
locked in."
So she knew, she could see how locked in I was. He looked so polished. The big thing that was incredibly impressive is the guy who didn't have the fastest 40 time clocked 19.72 miles an hour.
I saw the highlight of him. Yeah, I saw the highlight of his catches. He was striding and it looked effortless. There's that bit in the middle where he seemed to, like, he was gliding through at a decent pace, and then I think it was after the second reception, he seemed to pick up more pace.
Yeah, he had gears.
And I was like, okay, I watched that. I think I watched that just before the pod, because I tried to do a little bit of draft research.
I can feel you getting excited, and I'm right there with you, but I'm going to crank it up a notch.
Oh.
Colby Young broke his leg in college. Okay. So the talent is there. The stock has crashed because productivity, injury history, potential future injuries as a result of a major leg break are all there. Those concerns are there. Does that not stink of what we did last year? We're picking up high potential players that
with
don't need to contribute straight away. That is absolutely a Seahawks
Arroyo,
kind of
Mills, Horton.
Yeah, absolutely the case. So, the combine performance has shown the scouts that he is back to some level of physical performance that they've seen from him before. I think that will go a long way. If he's been in and done his medicals with the teams, done his interviews, looked like that and highly polished, 19.72 mile an hour for, and I know we're used to it in Seattle. We kind of have to be like, remind ourselves that not everyone is DK Metcalf. That is a player we could feasibly take without spending huge draft capital.
I have one thing for you that Ben's just given us. Also had big legal issues, 12 months of probation for domestic assault. Now that, under the new regime, I don't see that as a Mike Mack guy. That's the only problem.
This is my rug.
Right, okay. Oh, you've got that much you'd be willing to sweep that under the carpet.
Everyone loves a bad boy. No, I'm joking. No, so yes, no, that is a concern. I do think that the way we've gone with the franchise, the high level of like integrity and personality and everything, I do think that is a red flag. But there are not many red flags here. I mean, Makai Lemons ended up with more red flags than a Chinese parade during the combine. So this is a big red flag. I'll give you that, but there aren't many. I think there is. What?
More red flags of the Chinese parade. It took me a second to come here. I was like, oh yeah, because their flag is red. That's why I'm laughing. It was funny and it took me so long to get.
There you go. But it's not a Chinese parade. It is one big glaring flag. But if they can get over that, then yeah, that is a potential prospect. So admission time. My attention span for quarterbacks has not been the greatest during this draft season, and college football and everything else, purely because I feel like the short term and long term in Seattle is pretty much locked down. We weren't great at drafting quarterbacks when we needed one. I can't imagine suddenly we're good at drafting one every year when we don't. So what I am going to do is shout out Taylor Green for basically just redefining what a quarterback is in terms of testing. Now, I've got his numbers. Taylor Green, Arkansas quarterback, ran a 4.36 40-yard dash, the 100th percentile for quarterbacks. Okay? He jumped 43.5 in the vert. That is 100% for quarterbacks. He had 134 in the broad jump, 100th percentile. 10-yard dash, 96th percentile. His arms are 34, 3.25 inches measurable. So his measurables 34 3/4 inches, 97th percentile. Height 6'6", 95th percentile. We know for a quarterback that is your sweet spot. If you're 40, your vert, your broad jump, and your 10-yard dash are all above 96%, you are doing something unbelievably right with your training and your discipline and everything else. He showed out in a big way. What's more, the scouts and the GMs were really, really impressed with his throwing. This wasn't just someone who showed out athletically and then looked really patchy with his throwing technique, and his deep ball wasn't there and everything else. He was extremely polished. And when you look at those 100 percentile measurements and performances, and then look at what's come before with the Anthony Richardsons of a couple of years ago, to outperform that is pretty phenomenal.
The dude looks like a basketball player.
Yeah, he does. He does. Not a heavy guy. That's the thing. Not a heavy guy. His weight is quite a low percentile for a 6'6" build. There is a little bit of growing to do there. I think they will want to put some weight on, because that is a snap me arm a twig kind of figure. But yeah, absolutely the rule book up with what is a good combine for a quarterback. Pat Mahomes hating it on that side by side.
Can I just give a quick shout out to 12 Talks official graphic designer, Gord, with a donation of £2.12p. See what he did there. Go Hawks, enjoy the new era of 12 Talk. You can see more of Gordon's artwork as GC designed. That'll be coming up all over our social media, and all of our logos are going to be from Gord, and it's fantastic work. But yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, really appreciate that.
Are you ready for another big boy?
I'm always ready for a big boy. Wait, that sounded wrong.
Okay.
Go.
Well, let it go.
Rug.
Family show.
There you go. Yeah.
Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. Okay. Probably available when we pick. Now, enormous man. Absolutely enormous man. Has played left guard predominantly. So our glaring need at right guard is going to take some adjustment. And I don't want to interrupt Gray Zabel left guard. I think that is lockdown, familiarity, continuity. Keep him there for life. But if they think that Emmanuel Pregnon can go from left guard to right guard, he could be a serious pickup. His combine testing was absolutely outstanding for a 6'5", 318-pound lineman. He was explosive, had a 35-inch vertical, which is the tied second best of all time for offensive linemen. There is power in that man, and there is leaps. So
they're creating these men in the lab at this point. It's just getting ridiculous. Like, it's like rugby league players who are like 6'5" and they're all like 220 pounds, but can still run a 40 in like 4.9 or 4.8. You're thinking, what's the point? There's no positions. You're just a bunch of grown men running around smashing the cack out of it for everyone. See, and to keep the pod PG, I said cack. Yeah, take that, Danny. Yeah.
I think Gordon might need to take back the 12 Talk Attitude Era. We're not even we're saying cack.
Family friendly show.
So I'm going to shuffle on from Emmanuel Pregnant. I could go on about him for a while. I really do think he is a proper guard at NFL level. I really do think specialist guard as well. Like when we took Gray Zabel, like it was clear and obvious where he was going. He is really obvious where he would go if we drafted him. Not necessarily sure we do it. I think the competition for right guard with the players on the roster and any potential pickup at center pushing Sundell over could really be the recipe. But if we do take one, fantastic pickup. Now, talking about putting a center in there and then everyone else shuffling along and competing, Logan Jones from Iowa was phenomenal, right? Phenomenal.
An Iowa lineman was good.
I know. But Logan Jones, his interviewing was what you want from a center. You want someone who communicates well, who leads well, who has the right attitude for team first. You know, I'm not here for the center stage. I'm here to be the center of the line and snap the ball and, you know, call out the adjustments to the line. And he is that guy. It's so clear that he is that guy. Now, 40-yard dash 4.9, really quite good for an O-lineman. That was at 300 pounds, by the way. There was speed, lateral agility. Before the combine, projected as a 6th round pick. He would have, if he didn't do the combine and you picked him at 6th round, you would be very, very happy with what you got. I now think he's probably a mid 4th round guy. Someone that, if we have an extra pick from a trade back, could potentially be an absolute pickup for us. I genuinely think he's great. And the comp coming out from I think it was Lance Erline, said Tyler Linderbaum. Like, this is Tyler Linderbaum Mark II, possibly from Wish in the 4th round, but that's the kind of ilk that he's being compared to now. So really do think Logan Jones could be a really fantastic value pick late in the draft. I'd be over the moon.
And so what positions have we got left?
Just the one.
Just tackle?
Well, I've done 2 O-linemen instead.
Right.
I've done a center and a guard. We're not in the market for a tackle. And there are a few that...
I'm sorry, I need to stop you. Because there is a man.
It's the most important.
No, there is a man who has been gracing our screens on social media and the TV, and you and I can feel for this man because we're trying to grow a mullet, and this man has Jonas screaming from the rooftops. All I want is Jennings Dunker's mullet and Jennings Dunker. Now,
I also think it's a great name.
His look, everything. If you put him in at right guard and you had like Gray Zabel at left guard, him at right guard, and I don't care who you put in at center, it's just going to look like something out of Varsity Blues, getting the biggest, countryest folk together to just be nasty. And
I mean, if he was missing a few teeth, I might be on board.
Like Cody Mock.
Yeah,
we loved him as well coming out when we did our pre-draft.
Yeah, we did. I do think he's going to be very good. That again is a really good option following a trade back for us. I don't like reaching at 32. Sorry, I've got a little hair on. Oh, it's a cat hair. Recently got a new kitten, and I think I've just inherited one of its head hairs. Lovely.
Well, enjoy that. And if you want to see pictures of Mitch's cat and other people's pets, you can join our Discord. It's free. It's down at the bottom there. We also talk Seahawks as well, but the community companions is always a favourite of mine, as I no longer have cats or dogs, but I do have a bearded dragon. Anyway, back to football.
I'd be very surprised if you had one of his hairs in your mouth.
Yeah, so would I. Right. Anyway, Jennings Dunker. Anything? Have you done any research on him? Have you looked into?
It was impossible. Yeah, it was impossible not to see all the Jennings Dunker's stuff that was going on. I'm going to pull up his. I'm going to pull up his combine results just so we can touch on it, because that is what we're here to do. So, most impressive thing he did on his the combine was the vertical, 32.5 in terms of the measurable stuff. 32.5, which was 92nd percentile. Shuttle was good, 74th. Broad jump was good at 79%. His 10 yards on his 40 was truly awful, and his 40-yard dash was mediocre. So, not your most athletic.
Not cut out for a wide zone defense.
I mean,
that, if his leaps are all right.
Yeah, I mean,
explosive speed's good to get on the outside.
Yeah, hesitant to say he wouldn't fit the scheme, but predominantly a run blocker, but his pass blocking grades are really good too. So there's a player in there. I'm not sure it's our fit, but I think you're getting an awful lot of player and an awful lot of haircut. So
yes, you are.
So I like that much. I can move on to my final player and our final position, if you like, Josh.
Yes.
This one's obvious. This one is obvious. So tight end left to touch on, the tight ends that are oft forgotten. Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon.
Oh, just what?
I feel like we've done a lot of Oregon here. Am I just playing to you?
No, the Ducks have had a genuinely good draft class in some pretty good positions.
So this one will blow your socks off. So Kenyon Sadiq, not the biggest sort of commanding figure for a tight end at 6'3", not the biggest in terms of weight at 241 pounds, not big with arm measurement at the position, 14th percentile there. This is an undersized tight end, right? Why would that be a first-round pick tight end, I hear you asking? Well, 4.39 40-yard dash was the fastest of all time for a tight end. 4.39 for a tight end is mega. 43.5 vertical leap was the 100th percentile for a tight end. Broad jump was the 100th percentile, biggest of all time for a tight end. So you're running fast, you're jumping long, you're jumping high, you've benched 26 times, which is the 91st percentile. Now that one is probably the most impressive for me, because when you think about your usual tight ends that are heavier, that are bigger, they typically will rep that a lot more than the smaller, more pass specialized, field stretching tight ends. But he held his own in a big way, 91st percentile there with 26 reps. And his 10-yard during his 40-yard dash was a 95 percentile as well. So quick out the blocks. He is a proper deep threat tight end. So Kenyon Sadiq was an alien at this combine.
And he's a freak anyway when you're watching for Oregon as well. Very quickly, bit of breaking news from Ben. He's on it today. The Cardinals have released Roadrunner. Bye-bye, Kyler Murray.
I don't know if I should be upset about that. I kind of liked him failing.
I kind of liked all the speculation of him staying up late nights to play COD instead of actually, football things. Right, as we've just gone through your top picks in each position, I'm going to take this opportunity to shout out some other things for our pod, because that's basically that's what I'm here to do. So, I don't know how that got on there. Look at that, Super Bowl champions. That's a fantastic bit of design as well from Gord there.
Gordo.
So, Everyone will know by now, unless you're new, we are the official podcast of the UK Seahawkers. You can be a UK Seahawker if you want as well. It's £12 for an individual, £20 for a family membership up to 4 at the same household, plus a £5 postage fee if you're outside the UK. The easiest way to sign up is to scan this QR code right here. It will take you to a PayPal link. You pay your money through friends and family. In the comments box, you write your name, you write your address, and you also write 12 Talk. If you join, and you've joined through the podcast, you have the chance to win an extra year's membership on us. So it doesn't matter where you're from, you can join, and the next time it comes up for renewal, we'll sort that one out for you. And with that, you will get things like game day opportunity for game day field passes. You will get access to social events, which we will have more of, more information coming soon. You get 10% off at the pro shop as well, and our annual selection of patches and goodies, which I have been told are currently being made up, ready to be sent out, because it had to be changed because we became Super Bowl champions, and Mitch and I watched the Super Bowl with this fantastic lot here. Over 50-odd UK Seahawks fans piled into O'Neill's, Broad Street in Birmingham, to enjoy a watch party with us, and look at them all. Fantastic. I can't wait to do that again. I'm pretty sure we've got the next one in Manchester for the Deansgate.
Are we allowed to say that now?
I think so. I'm not going to say the date just in case, but I think, I don't want to get told off again. But last year, these are the goodies we got. They change every single year. You'll always get your commemorative patch, you'll get your wristband, you'll get your membership card, and another goodie. So there we go. And as Mitch said before as well, we support the Robbing Cancer Trust on this podcast. It's the UK's only testicular and ovarian cancer charity. And we're so proud to be supporting these. As you'll see, if you're new to this, Toby likes to run around dressed as a ball bag.
Don't we all?
So he's exactly, yeah, you do you, boo. He's going to be doing the London Marathon again, dressed as a giant testicle. He's done Hadrian's Wall. He does multiple marathons and half marathons, and we're so proud to support them. Everything that comes to us as a podcast, 20% of that also goes to the RCT. We are committed to supporting them, and we're supporting them this way as well. After the raffle that we did and the squares that happened on the Super Bowl party, plus Mitch's contribution for the tickets that he bought for his friends, we raised £765 for the RCT, and that is still going to keep growing. You can help growing that by joining the Patreon as a rookie, as a 12th man, or an MVP for only £12 a month. Which gets you extra access, which I'll be detailing as well. Check out our social medias. And if you want to leave a super chat, it's open, and 20% of that super chat will go to the RCT as well. And we'll be tallying that up at the end of the season to see exactly how much we've done to help. There you go. Anyway, Mitch, back onto draft talk. Let's rattle through this. We're over an hour now. You can tell we've had a break.
I know. Let's just touch on a few players whose draft stock's fallen, a few names.
Who's right? Give me two that rose, two that fell.
Okay,
we've already had Lemon.
Yes, so Emmett Johnson, widely considered to be running back 3 in this draft pre-process, ended up dead last in the 40-yard dash with a 4.56. Bench pressed 16 times, which was pretty poor at 202 pounds. Lack of breakaway speed and power is just they're big red flags for Emmett Johnson. He will not be running back 3 in this class, not a chance. Just NFL notification. Is that me getting late news about Kyler Murray? Oh no. Drew Dolman. That's very old news.
Oh yeah.
Denzel Boston, Huskies wide receiver, projected originally to be a potential first-round talent. Chose not to run the 40-yard dash, first of all, which for a wide receiver is a shame because that is a genuine drill that has some meaning at that position, in my opinion, more than most. And so chose not to run the 40-yard dash, said, I'm going to do the gauntlet. I'm good at it. So twisting, turning, catching, moving, running a straight line. I can do that drill. Proceeded to drop almost every ball. If you can't catch, at least be quick. or show us that you're quick. So Denzel Boston, great talent. Put all of it on tape. So there is a player there. But in terms of as much as you can destroy your draft stock with testing at a combine, he absolutely did that. So Emmett Johnson at running back, slow and can't bench. Denzel Boston, wide receiver that doesn't run fast or catch a ball, are my two takeaways for players that have dropped. I think that's probably. Oh, I'll give you one more. Reuben Bain, widely considered to be the best edge in the league, had his arms measured at 30.78 inches, which is not good. So
he was the Miami edge, wasn't he? That we were looking at mid-season.
Technically still is, but yes. Yeah, absolutely. So Reuben Bain is a beast, and he is the best edge rusher in this class. But at that arm length, that is Scrappy-Doo level of being held off at arm's length by offensive lineman territory, frankly. I think setting the edge against the run with arms that size, you are going to have to really convince teams that you can replicate your production at college level in the NFL. However, the talent speaks for itself and the hype is there. So I don't see him falling too far, but he was considered to be the best player in this year's draft. So that's what we're talking about here. Best player in the draft suddenly looks like he might have a serious flaw to his build.
T-Rex arms.
Yes.
Nice. I like it. And do you know, this can change throughout this pre-draft process, and I'm sure it will, because we'll be talking all about what we're going to be doing for our pods leading up to that. Currently, based on the players that you've scouted, who is your favorite prospect? Who's your draft crush? You may have mentioned them, but for anyone
does it need to be someone that we have in reach, or can it just be anyone?
Oh no, we've still got to select a Mitch's boy that isn't your actual biological boy later on. So it can be anyone. Who's your draft crush? Who do you think is going to be an absolute superstar?
For whoever drafts him?
Yeah.
Sonny Styles. That's no hanging fruit. Sonny Styles. Yeah, I think
you don't do low hanging fruit when it comes to these, mate.
Let's go Jeremiah Love. I think Jeremiah Love is he's going to be a top 5 fantasy running back in year one. I don't even think it matters who he goes to. Seriously.
No, and you and I are in many fantasy leagues together. So let's see how that shakes out, shall we?
I hope I'm drafting early in one of them.
I was going to say.
I don't think I have. I think I won every league I was in last year, apart from one of them. But yeah, I
was going to say, if you're not, there is literally going to be that. Is it the Homer Simpson gif of him just flipping the bird and walking away that I'll be sending to you?
Yeah.
Right. And then last, but by no means least, and let's talk. So if the Seahawks stick and pick at 32.
Yes.
Who do you think they should be taking a long, hard look at?
If he's on the board, I don't think you have a decision to make. Avian Terrell.
The cornerback. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, Avian Terrell. I think if he's there, I think it just has. I think it just has to happen. Jonas.
No, as he just sent you that right. So for those of you who aren't in our Discord, I will ask you to join purely because Jonas's love for Dunker is such that he has had an AI engine generate him with a mullet. We're going to make a channel for this, so I want to see other people with mullets, especially those people with not much follically challenged. I want to see some mullets, but Jonas has put a mullet, him with a mullet, a German with a proper mullet. It's like doing like a time warp in our Discord, and it looks spectacular.
Jonas Dunkers.
I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for it. But yeah, there we go. So with that being said, I think that's it for our first sort of our combined monsters. Welcome to season 3 of 12 Talk.
There we go.
Newly dubbed. Should we just quickly go through what we've got coming up for the next couple of weeks? Because I've got it written down here.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to be looking at our free agents. So any free agents that we still have from last season's Super Bowl winning team, who could be re-signed, who should be let go. We're also going to look at some free agents that are out there that could be of interest to Seattle. Now, there's a lot of stories going on, so we need to see about that. Then going through that, Mitch will be hosting his draft class rundown, and we're going to be going position by position. So we're going to have DBs and linebackers, then we're going to have D-line and edges, then we'll have O-line and tight ends, then we'll have
I was going
to say this is all about you, this. Then we'll have QB, running backs and wide receivers, and then we've got some individual mock drafts with hopefully some guests that will lead us up to just before the draft. And just before Mitch becomes a daddy.
I've always been the daddy.
But
officially. Yeah, that scares me almost as much as everything else. I think the fact that when the draft arrives, which feels really close, I will be a dad, and that scares me.
Mate, you'll be fine, mate. You'll be absolutely fine. I'm always here if you need someone to whinge at, because I've been through the same thing as well. I'll be no good at helping you out, but you can whinge.
I just point and laugh. I used to say, you used to come to me and be like, "Oh, this has happened, and it took ages to get Ivy to bed," and I'd be like, "That doesn't sound like fun. I'm glad that's not me. It's going to be bloody me now, isn't it?"
Look at you now.
You'll just mock me. Yeah, there we go.
How the tables have turned. But for everyone that's joined us, who's tuned in, who's sort of put into the comments, if you've left a super chat, thank you so much. This is our first episode where super chats are available, so we really, really appreciate that. Remember, 20% of any super chats or any of our Patreon subscriptions, which join Patreon, it's down there. I'll go through all of the tiers on social media. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You guys have helped us get to a point where we can hopefully make this a self-sufficient podcast. We love doing it. We love the community that has come from it as well, especially with the Discord. Join that. That's down there. And just thanks for having us back for a third season. Thanks to everyone who wants to come and meet us as well in Manchester. Although, Mitch, not you. You will be with Babby.
Knee deep in diapers.
But don't worry, we'll set out a watch party at some point. Mitch, as it is a new season, are we going to end it on a high?
No. But I'm going to say I'm going to try.
We'll do it. I'm not letting this tradition go. This is it now. So, from me, Josh, from my podcasting partner in crime, Mitch, we have been 12 Talk. Thank you very, very much for joining. And on the count of 3, Mitch, let's go for it. 1, 2, 3. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.